What's up, everybody? Sorry about that. Got a little distracted today. Got a couple things going on. But welcome to another Live to Roll. We're hanging out with you today. Maybe just Bobby and I guess, for hanging out for today. But it's awesome. We're just doing a Hangout Q&A. So anything you guys want to talk about, I have a few things we were going to mention and talk about. So we kind of just got on a little bit before. But yeah, drop it in the chat if there's anything you guys do want to mention or um, yeah, that you want to talk about or ask, or is on your mind. So yeah, I'm Shawn. I'm a C5, C6 quadriplegic from a snowboarding accident 21 years ago now. Bobby, you want to go ahead and do a little intro?
Yeah, I'm Bobby Rohan, C5, C6 as well, here in Southern California from a bicycle accident. And 26, or no, I'm 36 years.
Oh yeah,
On Thursday,
okay,
36 on
Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah, I got on our, so join us on our Rolling Over the Hill. I'll be a year older, but definitely join us. And we're going to have a good show too, because we're talking, it's CP Awareness Month. So we have two, and one of our viewers and regular in the chat, Grisella, she's going to be joining us. So I'm excited about that live on the show. So join us and celebrate with me my life birthday.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Come hang out on Thursday, guys. So that'll be 35 years then? 36.
36.
36. That's what I thought. 36.
Yeah.
That's 30. So yeah, man, that's a pretty incredible
Yeah.
to do, man. I mean, I remember when I met you, because that's what you're like, about the 15 years ahead of me, because I just hit 21, and I do remember when I met you being like 15 years, 14, 15 years in, and thinking like, that is insane. I can't believe this guy has been living like that.
Well, yeah, no, I had the same thing when I met a guy 5 years. So like, I've been, injured for 5 years. I was like, are you kidding me? There's no way. I'm so glad there's a cure right around the corner that they keep telling me about.
I know.
Oops. That didn't happen.
But yeah, that's one of these days. One of these days, it'll
So
it'll come up. But yeah, that's we'll see if in our lifetime we do. I mean, they do have a lot of really cool technology and things coming out and going on, but
yeah, it will eventually, it will happen, or it will make things a little bit easier for people when they do get hurt. I don't think for us, dudes that might be 20 years and 36 years and 50 years, but I think you get hurt. Okay, we got something that you're going to be taking this medicine, and you're going to be doing therapy just like you were for rehab, and you might get a little more return, or a lot more return. You know, so it's hard to say. I mean, if you get full function by a medicine one day, that would be awesome. But
yeah,
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And I think we have Derek was asking, what are your biggest fears aging with an SCI? You want to go first, Shawn? Because this is a good one for you.
Yeah, no, and it is, and I'm kind of coming to terms with all that, and like facing some of those fears. I feel like with just like, yeah, my body changing, things like over time, things getting a little harder. Some have honestly gotten a little bit easier for me. Like I will say that especially in this last year or two, with like having someone like Leah being able to help me like figure some of the stuff out. But like my bowel and bladder have been like better than I've had in the like 20 years previous, as far as management that goes. But I'm having other issues now. Like I'm having way more pain, way more nerve pain, way more neck pain. And then like I was kind of got me distracted before, for the last, it's been over a month now. I've had some sort of hip issue going on, and it does concern me. I don't know if I don't know what I did to it. I definitely it's because I get a lot of pain and spasticity in my hip and then in my low abdomen, right abdomen above it, like, and it even like squeezes like over my bladder. Like when I get the spasm, like I do get like a weird muscle thing that runs up my bladder, like a bulge thing that comes across it, like, and it dips down in another spot. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But I'm finally going to go to the doctors and get it figured out. Because I've had this happen before where my hip.
You mean Leah's going to be taking you to the doctor, dragging you along?
Well, she is concerned also too for me. She does wants me to make sure I'm like, not having issues like that, because it has been hard, and then even like somewhat dangerous with driving recently. Even like like right now, my hip keeps giving like a little like pull, like it's kind of sucking my ab down a little bit and pulling my leg up a little bit, and it keeps doing it every like so often here. But it was doing that in the van, and like to the point where it was like sucking me all the way to the steering wheel, and I couldn't move, and I had to release the gas and brake pedal to balance, and I was trying to hold the steering wheel, but even
So
that, Lee is helping me keep straight
you're coming forward like this.
forward. I'm coming in, and I'm like sucked in, like to where I'm like pressed up against the wheel almost, like my body's trying to fold itself. Well, and there another one trying to pull me in to the
Yeah.
desk. But yeah, so that's been something that like stuff like that I am concerned with, and then like the osteoporosis of all that, like how my bones, on my like just all that stuff is really uh, been on my mind a lot more. So I'm trying
Yeah.
to figure this out. But like yeah, like I said, I've had this like little hip things like that happen that lasted like 2 or 3 days, and then like would kind of fade, and like I thought maybe I pulled a muscle, I just kind of tweaked it a little bit. Um, but this has been like probably 5 weeks now, I think, solidly, and it's not
Mhm.
getting better. It's kind of almost getting a little bit worse. So,
Yeah, there could, I mean, obviously could be a thousand things wrong. It could be, meaning, um, you pulled a muscle, so it could be a muscle thing. It could be a joint related thing. There's so many little things, but I think Derek said it. Hopefully a good CT scan will turn out to see what it might be. I mean, I'm pretty sure my hips are just screwed as well. I mean, our bodies were meant to sit as long as we do. It was meant to stand. And so, yeah, Hendrik, you said it too. Arthritis, no joke. I don't know. It's so funny. I broke my left hip 3 years ago, and it starts healing, and my doctor now wants me, says, okay, go to PT. So I go in and I start doing physical therapy, right? She's sitting there, got me on the mat, doing both my legs and my hips. She's like, I don't know, you're the one you broke is amazing. This thing is doing awesome. Your other hip, holy shnikes. This thing's a mess. Look at watch. And she does this, and then next thing you know, my body's just like, oh, okay, okay, okay. She's like, look at that. I can get into this spot, and it's doing what you're kind of saying, Shawn. It's doing this, or every morning I yawn. When you first wake up, you're like, oh, and this, I've knocked Ellen's teeth out almost before, when she's come by, she's like, all right, do something before I come over to help you out. And I'm like, all right. And I just do like I kind of hold it, and boom, my knee pops up, and it's that hip. I have pain in that hip. I can, it's funny when I lean forward just ever so slightly, something clicks there. And it could be 100 things. It could be from, I had HO in that, which is calcium buildup, heterotros. I hate saying it. Heterotros calcification. It's HO, damn it. So, but it's got a bunch of calcium buildup from when I first got hurt. So, and I think the biggest fear of when we're getting older, and Robert from Rolling Over the Hill, and I think he's in the chat, and he can tell you firsthand. His biggest fear is his skin getting thinner,
mm-hmm.
and that's what's happening with mine. It's getting thinner, and it sucks. And so you're more delicate. I just noticed, like, I butt my hands just wrong, and boom, I got a scald. an open wound. It's like, what the hell? I'm like, barely even touched something. And I've always got scabs healing here and there, just because I've opened up my hands a million times, especially like going downhill. I put my hand behind here, and it rubs it the top of my hand, and just it's so thin. So
Yeah, that's
it,
one I'm definitely concerned with that a little bit, my
mm,
skin and stuff. Because even I went to play rugby on Sunday, um, and that's one of the transfers that I no longer try to do on my own is the chair to chair transfer from daily chair to rugby chair. I just get two people to kind of like lift and two person hoist me over. But I think my hip caught the rugby chair when they sat me into it because Leah had noticed on Sunday night, like she's like, "Oh, you have a little." There actually I do always have a little bit of a like a darker spot. She said they're like a calcium,
yeah,
like
yeah.
little like a rub kind of that I have rubbed there. But I think I kind of bumped it and it like scraped it a little and sheared it. So we've been kind of keeping an eye on that and stuff. And it's more on the side, a little bit of the hip side back, but it's not like the one of the harder pressure points I think. But I'm obviously something's putting pressure on it, and then the rub, that's like that scares me now, like, especially because I know like you had said, like you have that fissure wound, that's
Hmm.
just like a surgical wound. But I
Yeah.
remember you had gotten that originally. The surgery was because you had like maybe bumped it on a transfer and it caused like a little whatever thing under it, like
It caused
abscess or
abscess, but a seroma, what it was originally called. So it was water fluid that turned into an abscess. So yeah, something that seroma usually happens after a surgery, but this one happened after getting my butt probably hit on from something.
yeah. So that's definitely a concern, making sure that I'm not bumping stuff on transfers or anything like that. So yeah, that's a definitely like a
Mm.
one for me that I've been thinking has been way more on my mind. Especially I feel like the last couple of years since I hit 40, I feel like it's been more of something like I've just been thinking of. Especially also because you kind of had some of your issues like a couple years ago, like when you hit 50, and so that started making me think like I got to start prepping like because I feel like you probably have done a better job of you regular cardio workouts, being like pretty like active and eating healthy and things. Because I definitely went through a lot of years of not eating super healthy and not the healthiest of habits and with stuff. So like I do think about that maybe what wear I did to my body in like my later 20s there like but I was gonna also say in the chat
And that's great. And let me just say this before you get to the chat. That's great because and for everybody in the chat, it's never too you're never too old to start something like that. I mean, you're at that point like that. That's a good time to pick that. Hey, it's time to get healthy. It's time to start. It's time to hit the doctors more. Find out how I'm going to get this bowel and bladder under control. How am I going to manage this and that? And now I'm going to go to the doctors when something's not feeling right, like your hip. So yeah, it's never late.
yeah, no, exactly, it isn't. And another concern I actually do have more recently, just while before we kind of do switch topics maybe a little bit, is heart stuff. It like, and not only because of you, but now I've also recently I had just talked to my friend Kyle, who has been on the show, Kyle McKittrick, playing rugby, and that guy's a beast, like playing rugby and stuff. And I hadn't
Yeah.
seen him in a while, and I hadn't texted him in a while, and when I did text him a few weeks back, he actually had gotten diagnosed with AFib, and he was having a resting heartbeat of 120 beats a minute, like while he was just sitting and resting. And so they had to try a couple procedures, like he had to get his heart shocked, and then they actually had to do a surgery where they went in and did
They
something
did
else.
it. It's called an ablation. They called it.
Yeah, that's so you had to get that, and then that ended up working for just like a little period. And he's younger than I am, so that's why I'm like, oh shit, like I mean, he's like, I think he's like he's like late 30s, 30, maybe 38, something, 36. I'm not sure actually,
Anybody, I mean,
but
my brother-in-law was the healthiest person I know, even quadruple. Like he wakes up at 5 every morning to go swimming. he's like a 5 time black belt in karate. You know, like he's just insane. He does hot yoga, he does spin classes. He's super thin, super healthy, and he still got one of those. So to get something like that, I mean, yeah, you can do everything you can in the book, but you know, it does creep up on you. I think you were going to say something about the chat.
Yeah, Albijon earlier asked where Tom is. Tom wasn't feeling good. I just had saw his text. He wasn't able to make it today. And then he just also asked, how did you date? You can just talk about dating in a wheelchair. We did talk about that a little bit on the last month too. But yeah, we both have dated earlier on in our injuries and stuff, and now luckily both married to wonderful women, and don't have to do that
You
anymore.
have to say
Because
that.
dating was it's not it can maybe some people do really enjoy the whole like dating thing of it, but man, it's not.
It, you know
It's
what?
not a fun.
Yeah,
Like
man or woman, it's hard. You know, I'm sure we could. I know I could talk a good game, but it's bullshit. You know, I feared that, you know, at times, like maybe there's not going to be somebody in my life, you know, forever. When I first got hurt, I was, you know, okay, I had a lot on my mind, and I had a girlfriend from high school, and it was nothing serious. We were, you know, that casual, just, you know, high school boyfriend, girlfriend, because we were on the swim team together. And, you know, I liked hanging out with somebody like that. And, you know, when we broke up, or when I had my accident, we split. It wasn't like a breakup. I just said, you know you have a scholarship in Illinois and then one at Cal State Northridge, which was in town. And I said, go to the one you really wanted to, because I think you're going to regret it if you stay here. And I got a lot of work ahead of me. So it didn't happen. But 2 years later or 3 years later, all of a sudden I was visiting. I was doing what I do best. I was going into the hospital, visiting new patients. And this one of our chat guys on that comes every so often, Mike Lee, Quad
oh yeah,
Boy.
Mike
I
Lee,
was
yeah, Quad Boy,
visiting
yeah,
him.
he's
Yeah, I was visiting him, and his neighbor came in, and she's like, "Wow, you're good looking." And I was like, "What the hell? Wait, where did that come from?" And guess what? I asked her out, and I'll never forget pulling up to her house, and her dad comes out and goes, I don't know about my daughter going out with somebody in the van, you know, driving a van, you know, and I had a minivan, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, you know, and I had just started driving. I was just like, what is going on here, you know? So I got lucky. We dated for 4 years. And then when we broke it off, um, I thought for sure I wasn't going to meet anybody else again. You know, I was like, and I broke it off. And I was like, that was the stupidest thing I could have done. But eventually, you know, I went out on a few dates. Nothing really was working. Uh, you know, and then I enjoyed my 20s. And then when I turned 30, I just happened to meet Ellen. And that was when I stopped really looking. I was like, you know, I don't need anybody. You know, I'm having fun going wherever I want to. And then all of a sudden there was Ellen.
yeah,
At times I thought I was going to be alone. And I know some people out there fear that sometimes.
yeah. No, I think a lot of people do have that fear, and I do think if you put too much of your thought and effort behind it, it I feel like that's going to negatively impact your chances more, because then you're kind of more like almost that like desperate feeling like you're really needing to find somebody you're wanting like you're, and then maybe you'll be willing to be with somebody that doesn't actually make you happy because you're so like determined to be in the like a relationship or find something or not be alone. But that's and that fear is understandable, but I feel like I, I mean, I personally feel like it is better to be alone than to be with somebody that's just not gonna be like not right for you, not gonna treat you right, not gonna be not something that like whether that's whatever that may be. Like find somebody that you actually love and want to spend your time with and like want like enjoy. like dating is great, do it, meet somebody, um, but yeah, I don't be afraid to not have somebody in your life. I feel like because
Yeah.
that's the same thing. I kind of had come to that like terms with that like a little bit before a while back. Like I kind of just was like my last relationship was really just rough for like a couple years of it. That like and I wasn't happy, and it just that made me realize like this isn't work. Like being in a relationship with somebody that's just making you miserable isn't work. Not being, not being alone. So
You had
it's
a
like,
long relationship at one time. I forget about that.
yeah,
How
I was
many?
with somebody for like 4 years, a little over four
Yeah,
years.
that you and I have like kind of the same thing. I had somebody for 4 years, and it just wasn't the right thing.
Yeah, so that's just like, and that's what like I don't know if I had to endure those like that year to 2 years where it was just like just got so bad, and I just felt so miserable every day, like literally waking
Right.
up just like fuck my life, like I hate like hating life basically, and like just waiting for like the day to be
Sometimes,
over.
there is something I say about spinal cord injury. We sometimes have a hard time growing up, especially when it's happened young,
Yeah,
especially in our teens years, our early teens and early 20s. You kind of stop growing, and that's because a lot of people are helping take care of you. And Hendrik, you kind of said it, where I think sometimes it might be easier being single right now to deal with caregivers and not have that interference. I can see that a lot. Sometimes it can be hard when you're mixing in a relationship with caregivers, but it can work. It can work. Dang, and I had something I was going to say too. Somebody said, thought I saw something else, and I had a good point to that. Um, darn. Oh, that sucks.
Robert just says he's too lazy for a relationship these days.
Well, yeah, after a while. And then, I think maybe it'll come back to me, but I do want to say and not try to change it. But Nicole, I'm so sorry to hear about um, your diagnosis here. So you're having high blood pressure. So hopefully they can figure that out. I don't know if there's type of a procedure they can do to correct that. So, but it's not. You put it in there. I'm not going to pronounce it, but is it like a hypertension kind of thing? I'd be curious. So, but
Yeah,
having those high blood pressure ups and downs, that's gotta sucks. It's like it gets like that with a lot of us quads too, where we might spike up, maybe not that high as 152 over 97, um, but then the dumps, man, the dumps suck, and the sweating sucks so bad.
I think maybe on one of these next Hangout Open Q&A ones, I'm gonna bring a blood pressure cuff and take my blood pressure a few times through the show.
You have one
Just to,
there?
it might be kind of. I don't think I don't have one here. I'm like we have it at home. I don't have one here in the
Shame
studio.
on you.
I know. I feel like that could be actually kind of a fun thing to show and do. But yeah,
Yeah,
Nicole, we hope everything can get better and get everything figured out and sorted and feeling good, feeling better. Yeah, Ken says dating is also expensive.
it's a lot of work. I mean, it's you know it it's not the easiest thing too, and um, I think sometimes being single could be sometimes easier where, you know, having a spinal cord injury, and Leah, yell it out or put it in the chat for us, having being a quad is a selfish thing sometimes. Um, because a lot of that relationship is around the quad, around a lot of the quad things. I know that is for me. Maybe that's it kind of has always been since I was young, but um, it can be a certain thing, especially with me being so out, um, just having a lot of things on my plate, meaning I'm involved with, a nonprofit. I'm involved with this. I'm involved with the coaching, and I've done so many years of mentoring. And then we have all these events we go to. And then whenever we're somewhere, and it's my wife's just like, God, it's always Bobby, 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 you know.
No,
And
I think Leah would agree with that.
yeah, and I don't know if Leah's seen it, and but it can get like that. And I know my wife, if she came in here, she'd be like, "Oh my God, if I hear about Bobby one more time," that's how it can go sometimes.
Yeah, no, I do think that I don't know if that just naturally happens over time with the injury, if what happens like, but you do become somewhat selfish, and a lot does revolve around you
Hmm.
know injury and different things of life and stuff, and it's definitely not easy, and that is so like that is something to consider for your partner, like it is a lot of work and it's hard for them. Like you have to be aware of that and kind of know when it might be good to help or try to do something for yourself, do something,
Yeah, but
or
it's
help with
also,
other things that you can.
but Leah, you said it right. I mean, it is a balance, and I think that has to. I don't think maybe I over dramatic that of the quad thing, but it can be. It is a balance. You have to. I have it being a quad or something in your work life, or somebody who puts their work in front of the relationship. It's a balance. Relationship is a balance, no matter what. But sometimes then once we throw on, like Hendrik was saying, oh, then my caregiver, and then extra doctor's appointments, and this and that, and they didn't show up, and now I got a UTI and blue. It can be tough.
Yeah, no, it can, and that balance is definitely important. Because if you are overly selfish and just only really thinking about yourself in the relationship, and you know, like what the other person can do for you, or like how they can help you, but like you have to consider how you can help the other person. So that's what I have not been the best at that in the beginning. Leah was helping me with a lot, and at first I kind of was just like, oh, this is great, and not really reciprocating a lot of like other things that I could maybe help out with around the house or do things to help maintain, like even if it's like I obviously am not going to be able to do some of the stuff around the house, but I can manage a few things. I can help with. I'm learning. I'm trying to learn. So if you guys have any tips for me, drop them in the chat.
Yeah, I
Or
think,
Bobby, like anything I can do to help.
and Nicole's been married 27 years, so yeah, definitely Nicole. We're gonna learn from you. So, and then Nicole, I was looking up your diagnosis, and with it's I guess it's a form of a stress hormone. Um, so yeah, I just hope that can get corrected, and these symptoms don't keep happening.
Yeah,
And then reading too much on the treatment, so I'll have to read up on it later. But I'll look into it, Nicole. Hopefully, our prayers for you get that corrected, and hopefully you won't have these high blood pressure episodes. Because high or low, obviously, it's never fun, and it's tough. It's tough to just go through health issues as we get older.
yeah, yeah. All that stuff comes into play, and yeah, it's just important to be aware of that stuff. How you are affecting somebody else and what you're asking of somebody else, and like you had mentioned before, even on the show. This is a while back, but like um, Ellen had mentioned something to you about like if you obligate yourself for something, you're obligating her for something, because I forget what it was, but you had
It was
said, "Oh yeah, I'll do something," and then like basically she had to be the one to load and do a bunch of like of the labor stuff.
Yeah, so it's like you saying, "Hey, Bobby, can you help out at this event on Saturday?" And yeah, it starts at 8. Okay, I'll be there, man. So what do I need to do? I need to get some help from my wife who helps me up. And hey, Ellen, I got to be at Burbank at 8. So I got to leave here by 7. So that means I got to get up at 6. You know, that's on her. No, you don't have to get up at 6. We have to get up 6. That means I have to get up 6. And that's my day of rest. So yeah, you're totally right. It's a balance.
Yep. No,
Now,
100%.
granted, we have chosen on the weekend not to have somebody come in, and my aide, who I do have um, from a couple times a week. But it is a balance. So on the weekend, I can't just nilly willy say I'm going to be doing something with, and I got to remember it because she's told me time and time again. But hey, say I'll get back to you, and then maybe ask me because I might have something. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, you're right.
Yep. So that is another important thing, just to make sure you're considering considering your partner for all that stuff, especially if they have to help you with things like getting up in the morning and getting it going. Um, but yeah. Um,
Hey, in the chat, we had a first timer, I think. So tell me if I'm wrong.
oh yeah,
Fortnite gamer,
that's actually, I meant to
364.
shout that out.
Oh, okay.
That's actually Thomas. That's little younger Thomas. Yeah,
Oh,
young Thomas. He's my over the line baseball partner.
yeah, there you go.
I've
Cool.
been trying to follow. He's got a YouTube also. So if you guys want to click on his thing, I actually did want to highlight his little Fortnite gamer. He does some game streaming and stuff. I do want to shout him out if anybody wants to check him out and watch. He's a younger quad, and he's awesome kid. And yeah, um, just wanted. I did see that, and I had that saved the highlight. But yeah, I just do want to shout him out because
Sweet.
and you know him because we gave him from other line.
Yeah, we gave him the hat. He was one of,
Yep.
he was, this is, a cool story about, being in a community, but he came out to, I think it was the sports festival or the Rancho Games. I think it was the Rancho Games. And I do an obstacle course for those who can't do all the events, like play quad rugby or something. Where, and I put something together so especially the kids love it, and actually it turns out everybody loves it to try to beat their time and beat somebody else's time. And you go through an obstacle course, zigzagging along the way. And this kid watched everybody all day. Well, not all day, but so for about 2 hours. And then I was like, hey, do you want to try it? Do you want to try it? No, 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 no. Finally, I get him out there and he tries this. And man, he was like, okay, I'm going to beat my time. He went over and I did it again and again and again and kept beating his time. It was the best thing. So I'm like, oh man, you're going to win. Yeah, I got a gift for you, man. We're going to give you something. So he got our hat, our Live to Roll hat.
Yeah, yeah, I know. And they've also even got one. Him and his mom have been super supportive. I got the chance to play with him and his buddy, who's just one of his like best friends, I think. And over the line, they were my teammates because it's like 3-on-3, and it was fun. They're just like fun to hang out with. And now he does power soccer. I'm trying to get that right because we're actually going to do a show on that sometime
What do
soon.
you call it? Power chair?
Power chair soccer, but it's just power soccer. I always just want to do it because they're in power chairs. I'm like power chair, but power soccer. They practice after our rugby, so we get to see him and his mom there a lot of times
Oh,
after.
sweet.
And they show up and play and do practice. He's on the team for the LAFC power soccer team. So super cool. Yeah, shout him out and shout everybody out. And also, just if anybody is interested, next month or in about a month, end of April, last weekend of April, Triumph Foundation is having their sports festival again, where Bobby does the little obstacle course and has this cool thing. It's a 2-day event up in Santa Clarita. So we'll be there. We'll have a booth and just be hanging out for the weekend. So come out, visit, hang out. It's free. Lunch and stuff provided as well. But yeah, just wanted to shout that out. And actually, real quick, also, while we're shouting some stuff out, if anybody's interested and likes PBS stuff, tonight PBS is actually airing a Change Not Charity, the Americans with Disabilities Act. And it's the whole story about, it's a brand new documentary that airs tonight at 9. on PBS, and I have the trailer for it in the description if you want to check it out. It looks like it's really well put together, really well done, and it's all about getting the ADA passed in 1990 because it's coming up on the 35-year anniversary here, I think this summer or sooner.
God, I feel like we just celebrated 30 just the other
I
day.
know that's what I do. I remember that when they had the
We
30
did a
year.
show on that, no?
I think that was one of our earlier shows. I don't think it was right about the time, but it was, yeah, like that was one of our early shows. We did like an ADA thing about like how it had first gotten passed and stuff. So the trailer looks super cool. I think me and Lee are gonna try to watch it tonight when we get home. Um, and yeah, it looks cool. PBS does the American Experience and a couple other. They have a lot of different cool documentary things, and they put them all on YouTube. They're all free. So uh, yeah, just
So yeah, probably you can check it out if you don't have PBS. Check it out on YouTube.
yeah, you can check it out on the PBS YouTube channel. I
Sweet,
believe they said Leah looked it up. I believe it also comes live on the YouTube channel like same time tonight, like
excellent.
9 o'clock or whatever
Yeah, I
Eastern.
don't know if I have PBS on my YouTube TV. There's only like
It
three
should be
channels.
because they have their channels and stuff, and they even
Yeah,
have like multiple channels. They have their standard one, and the American Experience is its own channel, which is like it's all about different American Experience stories um and like what made America. Yeah, that's kind of what they're all about. Like what
cool.
so. Yeah, just wanted to shout that out too. So everybody wants to check it out. Uh,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, what else is going on, guys?
Well, I got a story for you guys. Just it's so funny. 30, I'm almost 36, and you think you we tell all these good tricks. Hey, make sure you do this or that, and one thing we were talking about is about a month or a couple months ago about these hot pads that you can put in the microwave, and then you can put it over your neck and stay warm. Or some of us like to put it on our chest, and it's kind of like having that blanket in us quads that get cold easy, especially in these winter months. Always nice to have, right? And but be careful. Don't do this, don't do that. Make sure, talked about the, a heated blanket. Well, on Wednesday, I had really nothing to do. And, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to hang out today, watch some TV. I was, um, if anybody has HBO, and it's over the top of funny of religion, called The Righteous Gemstones. And
Oh yeah, that is. Like, I haven't seen. I don't know if I've seen the newest one. But yeah, that show is
well, yeah, and
fantastic.
I knew the new season was coming out, so I'm like, I got to catch up. So, sitting there watching, and I started drifting off to sleep, and I fell asleep. And my wife came in. She's like, are you taking a nap? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, can you heat up my hot warmer pad? So she put it in the microwave and then gave it to me. Okay, babe. And I took my blankets and I rolled up like this with the heat pad on my chest and drifted off again. Well, the next morning I wake up and I, scratch my face and I feel something wet. And I'm like, what? And I noticed that the top of my pinky had the biggest blister on it. And then a couple of my knuckles had a small little blister, but got my pinky really good. Um, and it looks disgusting. And, it's funny when you think you know, you're being careful all the time, and it just takes that one little slip up. It's just so funny. I thought I had wrapped my hand up into the blanket, so it was just the blanket, but no, the blanket wasn't there where my pinky was, and so now I got a nice little burn on my pinky. Luckily, I have Silverdene at home, and so we've been applying that, and then I had some leftover antibiotics for this kind of stuff just to make sure it doesn't break out until I can go see the doctor, which I have and how hard it is. It's funny. You can get a nice, really bad burn, and it takes 2 weeks to get into a doctor to have somebody look at it. Luckily, I have the right medicine, and if somebody doesn't, it's just crazy.
Yeah, no, that's because I mean, otherwise, I guess you have to go into like an emergency or urgent care type of thing,
Yeah.
which is
Which, I mean, if I didn't have that, I would go so I can get that stuff to start with. But luckily, I have it from something else for my daughter, and so luckily we had that kind of stuff laying around, and it's just going to be a nice, good, cool looking scar, as my wife said. And she's like, another scar. I'm sure because she's like, you're not worried about this. I'm like, no, not really. It's a pain in the ass to deal with right now, and luckily I have no feeling there. But and I think somebody said it earlier about aging is more of their, and I think it was Hendrix, um, about constant dysreflexia. And
oh
I
yeah,
kind of know what you mean, man. I feel like I've been in dysreflexia for like 6 months now. If it's not my hip, it's something else, and it's just been like one thing after another. And this is like just another one on top. And we were cleaning it today real good, and then putting on a new bandage, and and then boom, about an hour ago, I was just breaking out in sweat. Like, it finally caught up to me. But just, my body's telling me, like, dude, you're in so much pain. Do you know that? Because when we were spreading on the hydrogen peroxide to clean it out, it's just like, God, I can't believe, like, you're not in, like, distro right now. I'm like, no, it seems like it's okay. And then, but there you go. So,
yeah.
so be careful out there, everybody.
And
If you
then
know what I
speaking
mean.
of that, being careful in injuries, Jay had asked actually earlier in the chat, and then asked again, what's your worst injury since having a spinal cord injury? And like Bobby obviously just had his burn. You've broken a hip.
I've broken a hip. And I think the hip wasn't as bad as breaking my femur. That was the worst.
Oh, the femur, yeah. Right.
Yeah, because that was a really bad break of a spiral fracture from water skiing, and that definitely sucked. After that surgery, putting in the rod and being in this brace, and um, yeah, I thought I'm never going to recover from this. And then my leg was straight for a long time, and trying to bend it, it was just so much dysreflexia. So yeah, I think that was the worst for me.
Yeah, the femur, and like so that's what I I'm gonna knock on wood here. Yes, I have been very fortunate, and I haven't actually had any bone breaks that I really that
That
I
you
know.
know of.
I feel like I may have cracked a couple toes and things.
No, that's
Uh,
toenail. The toenail.
the toe, and I do have
Toenail's nasty.
my toenail. Leah's over here. Your toenail's nasty. Because I did years ago. This is like literally 15 years ago, probably early in my injury. I spasmed really hard into my chair. The chair was like next to the bed, and with the emotion metal spokes, I guess I got it just right, and that spoke went under my nail and ripped my big toenail off. Um, and like it was just like up, like like sticking straight up when I saw it in the morning and and had seen it. But for some reason, it won't grow back regularly either. It grows like about a quarter-inch out, and then it grows another layer under it, and it stacks up. So it's like a stacked tower of nails. It's like looks like a fossil of some sort. It fell off one time, like 10 years ago. No, maybe like 7, 8 years ago. After about,
No,
and I'm
Leon.
about
No,
there
Leon.
again. It's about the same size it fell off last time. So I'm wondering if it'll fall off, or maybe go to the podiatrist and have him knock it off and start fresh again. But yeah, I've had that. I've had I was talking to that Bobby before the show. That's what I got distracted with. Is like in the first 5 to like maybe 8 years of my injury, I burnt the crap out of my hands regularly. I remember specifically a quesadilla one time got me super bad. Cheese coming out of the back. A hot burger one time got me so bad because I had picked it up and my thumb was in the hot patty, and I didn't realize it was like on it, and like I ended up having like this giant blister like over half of my thumb. Um, and I've had a bunch of littler ones, and then like even twice on the hot skillets, like the fajita plate things. I got my
You and your fajitas and quesadillas, man.
hey, it's
No
good food, all
nacho
right.
for you.
Actually, I guess I eat a lot of Mexican food because I've actually a couple burritos have got me as well, where my finger went into the burrito and it was super hot, like because like it spasmed and my like finger kind of went through the tortilla.
Oh,
uh,
man.
but stuff like that, I've never really had any major injuries. Like, so I am fortunate. I feel like that is very lucky. I haven't had any bone breaks. I am gonna figure out what's going on with my hip, so we'll see if
Yeah.
I something might be fractured, dislocated, pulled, torn. I don't know what's going on in there,
Mm.
um,
You
but
know,
yeah, I'm lucky.
and speaking of toenails, I just everybody should try to get a podiatrist. It's a pain in the ass, but there's a lot of podiatrists out there, that I've found that come to your home nowadays. You know, if you have Medicare, Medicaid, um, uh, you can every once in a while find them, and it's good to get a good nail clippings of your toes because what I wasn't doing it on a regular basis, and what happens is, and I don't know if you're like me, Shawn. When we open up our doors, to go like into a store or something, we use our feet, and so what happens is those toenails start curling into your skin, which can cause a problem. So definitely want to be uh, regular about your toenails.
Yeah, no, you do, and I am bad. And that's the other thing. My other toenail, that big toenail that does seem like it's okay and healthy and growing. At the end of it, I don't know if this happened to anybody else out there, but over the years, it's curved more and more, so that it's like a C now. It doesn't look. It's not a very flat toenail. It's the end of it, and if I cut it too far back, it will dig through my skin and get like ingrown and like
Yeah,
inflame the tip of my toe. So I'm actually going to try to have a podiatrist look at both of them, see if I can just get them both permanently removed or something. Because
yeah,
I don't really need them. I don't think. I don't know why. I have no need for my toenails. Big. I don't think they're protecting my feet much for
yeah.
doing stuff. But
Our friend Eric Saint Amant's on, our good friend, and he said, "Where do I begin?" He's gone through a couple major things that you know.
Eric,
One day that if we'll have to get him on and see if he'd want to share one day because he's gone through a couple things that um, thank God he's gotten through them and not easily, but thank God you're still here with us, Eric. That's all I can say.
yeah, Eric does have one of the scariest stories I think I've ever heard for somebody
Yeah,
like
I don't want to.
surviving
I
through.
don't want to say it until he's gives permission
And I had talked
and
to him a
maybe
few years ago about coming on, and
yeah,
he was somewhat interested, but I think had some other stuff going on. So, Eric, I will try to text you
yeah,
and see if you still are interested, if you would want to come tell your story. And Leon asked if my hip problem is due to your cushion. I don't think so because it just started like the 5 weeks ago, and I've had this same cushion for like a year and a half now or more. Um, and uh, yeah, I sit fine in the chair. Pretty like it seems okay. So I don't think it's my cushion. And it happens. Yeah, I was gonna say it actually happens more in the car and in the bed and in my shower chair. I almost this morning had a
so a little bit more of a stiffer, uh, meaning stiffer in the sense like your car seat's a little bit stiffer, the bed is a little bit stiffer than your cushion,
yeah.
especially the shower commode chair. Like it's hard to have a good cushion. So definitely if on those harder surfaces, it might be something like that, where it's taking your hip and displaying in a different position that you're not used to as where you're in your chair you're used to. I don't even know how that went out. If anybody understood that, what am I talking about?
No, I mean, but yeah, I get kind of what you're saying. Yeah, it's just the positions and stuff can affect it, and the hardness and all that. So that's why I honestly don't know what it is. Like that's why I was supposed to have called the doctor today and made the appointment, and I didn't end up doing it. Got up a little later start. So tomorrow morning, I don't have care in the morning and stuff, so I'll make sure I do get up and
All right.
do that first thing.
I got to deal with you, Shawn. We'll check in on Thursday with you. Is
Okay.
I have to make a doctor's appointment. I want to see a neurologist. The number's in right there. And did I call it? No. But I want to make a to find out. I don't know if anybody has this, but lately I get startled with big noises that, like you hear somebody shut the door really, and all of a sudden I'm like, God, scared. Like things scare me. Like,
Oh,
like, or my dog's behind me and then all of a sudden she'll bark and I'm just like, Jesus, I'm startled really easy lately. And I don't know if that's a neurological thing. It's weird. Like somebody will come in the room like, hey, Bobby. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. It just startled. I get startled very easy lately. And I thought like, maybe I should go see a neurologist and get that checked out. Another doctor appointment, of on top of everything. But, enough that I'm like, you know, I'm catching this early. I think maybe I should go see somebody and maybe I can get on top of it than it breaking out to something else.
yeah, no, that's probably good to try to address. Leah asked if you were going through an unusual amount of stress, like if you were more stressed recently
Well,
or something
yeah,
else.
I mean, it was stress with my mom passing, and then stress with my dad and making sure he's healthy, and then with that big competition. So that could be, that's a good thought, Leah. And but I also just had a friend. He's been in our chat many times, but
Uh,
he calls me up and he goes, "I'm having brain surgery." And I'm like, "Wait, what? Brain surgery? What's going on?" They found a mass the size of a plum inside of his head,
really?
and he had to get it removed. Yeah, I was
Wow.
just like, I go, "How'd you find out about that?" And he said, "Just all of a sudden, I just started talking gibberish all the time." And finally, his partners, she said, "Hey, let's go get you checked out," and discovered a um, big tumor in his brain. So luckily, it's not cancerous. But yeah,
Yeah, man, that is scary. Stuff like that is definitely scary to go through. So hopefully they're okay and everything. And that I don't know why this I thought about this, but I have been actually all month. I keep remembering after the show. I did want to do one quick kind of shout out thing for a friend of ours that did pass away about a month ago. Friend Mario. He was always in the chat. He was from the chair in the chat. He was always active on Live to Roll, super supportive, just a super great guy. And he will be missed. So I keep forgetting about that during the show. I'll always remember before, and I'm like, oh, I want to shout out Mario because he was a fan and friend of the show and to us personally. So did want to make sure, just real quick, to mention that.
in fact, I can here. Let me grab his picture. I went to the service, so let me grab his service, and everybody can just remember him for a second. Go ahead, Shawn.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love. He always was just super supportive and just a friend to anybody in the community. He's honestly one of the nicest guys. And he would always have super funny jokes in the support groups and things like that. He had like a lot of like dad jokes and things that were just kind of silly and goofy and funny. Or he would send me texts or emails with like random funny jokes and memes and things. So Mario will definitely be missed personally and by the community for sure.
Yeah, he
Um,
was. That was one thing at his service that even though he was going through a lot himself and really trying to figure it out, only being injured for 5 years and had a rough go, but he wanted to make sure everybody else around him was had a smile on their face. And when I was going through a rough time a couple years ago with my heart thing, he was calling me up all the time. But Mario, you will be missed, my friend. It was a beautiful service and beautiful family, and you're definitely going to be missed. So um, I know he's looking down on us, making sure that we're going to be okay.
yeah, no, I know definitely, and just appreciate him and everything he did, and And yeah, I know for sure he's definitely looking down and still enjoying some live to roll.
And I think, our question earlier, what's the hardest thing about aging? And I think that has a lot to do with it, of how many friends over the years I've lost who have had injuries, and because of, certain things here and there, one pressure sore, one, who a lot of friends. And so, yeah, I think that's also hard to get through because you have fragile friends and fragile family, when it comes to having a disability and SCI.
Yep, no, it is. That's some of the things that I learned, through this. We have lost, quite a few friends and stuff because that just sort of sometimes goes with the territory of this. There are complications. That's why health is so important. Monitor your health, your skin, infections, the bladder, all anything like that. Make sure you're just staying on top of stuff, your heart health, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you never know. There's all kinds of things that happen to people, even that are the healthiest and everything, and it just sort of just sucks. But but yeah, rest in peace, buddy, and yeah, everybody else. Um, yeah, just thanks for supporting, guys.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of things in the chat here too. People for Mario, but also just before we do wrap up here, which is already kind of wrap up time. Mo Cree, are you new too, Mo Cree? I don't remember seeing
I
you.
know. I was just about to say that. Maybe you might be new. Let us know.
Yeah, I got a SPI last October. Is that catheter or SPI? Is that suprapubic infection or
I've gotten the suprapubic last year in October. I've been, and ever since I get what you're
oh
saying.
yeah, he's also said
Maybe,
they also said there's C5, C4, C4, C5. So
and maybe he's talking about being startled.
oh
Uh,
okay,
um, but yeah, manage your stress. Yeah. Yeah, let us know, Mo, if that's what you were talking about, being startled, if that's what its PSI is. Maybe what the definition. Yeah, I'm new out of here in Oklahoma. Yeah, where the wind comes blowing down the rain. I always have to sing the first part of that. But now in the Los Angeles area. Well, welcome,
he
Mo.
what I'm from Los Angeles area. I think he just
Oh,
moved to Oklahoma from LA.
no, no. I'm out here in Oklahoma right now. Oh, from LA. I'm sorry. You're right.
But yeah, so welcome. Let us know if you had any other questions, anything like that. Let us know. I will start to kind of wrap up here and we can do our
No problem, Mo.
sponsors.
Just,
What's
yeah,
that?
those voice things suck when you're doing it. But glad you're here, Mo, and keep coming back. Hopefully, you're going to be one of our regulars.
Yeah, hopefully, man. Especially moving out to Oklahoma from LA. I don't know if you were part of the more LA community or had like much support and friends out here, but I'm sure in Oklahoma there's probably a few less in the community out that way.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, let's go ahead and quickly thank our sponsors here. We
You want
really
me to go?
appreciate. Yeah, go. Actually, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I got this one. Mobility professionals. If you live here in the Southern California area and you're looking for some mobility needs and urology needs, they're here. Southern California here to help you. They can help you with that mobility needs because they are somebody who have disabilities. They hire for within the disability community, so they also train their staff on how to recognize those who are reaching out to them with some needs, and they get on the ball. If it's something that they can handle, meaning your insurance, they will help you send out supplies, meaning free samples and things like that for you to try. So you're just feeling not alone. So when you get to the next place, you're saying, wow, these people were really professional. They couldn't help me because of insurance, but they got me on the right track of a good catheter. So that's mobility professionals. But if you're not here in the Southern California area and you're looking for a good urology supplier, um, that they're out there to help you across the nation, from Hawaii all the way across to New York and Florida. So, yeah,
Even up
urology
to Alaska, because
discussion.
I forget who it was in our chat that was from Alaska a couple years
Kelly,
ago. Kelly,
Kelly.
yeah, that's right. They had got their supplies. And shout out to, real quick before we do wrap up, shout out to Hendrik. I remember seeing you earlier too, and I think you're kind of newer to the chat. And then also, what's up, Jeff Mitchell?
Actually, Jeff
Jeff
Mitchell
Mitchell
was
is a friend of the community out locally. I haven't seen him in a long time, but good to see
Jeff
you.
is Jeff is recovering from that surgery that I was just telling you guys about. So Jeff, hope you're on the mends and glad you're joining us. Love you, bud.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Great to see him in the chat. So, thanks everybody watching, and yeah, thanks again to our sponsors. Um, we do appreciate them and appreciate everything they do for the community locally. And then Tom is not here today, but
He said he will be on tomorrow.
yeah, he will be on tomorrow. He texted. Let me real quick. This interview one I haven't used, so I didn't have his new banner updated yet. Let me copy it real quick over here so that we could show the banner.
Ken, you said you're frugal on your spending habits, but I don't know if you're going to be able to afford those KFC and Taco Bells the way with prices going up. So I love it. Ken is my number one fan of getting a colostomy. So he loves his Taco Bell and he calls me every time he's there.
uh, hey, Taco Bell is good. You just got to stick with the classics, though. I don't do any of their weird stuff. Just classic taco, bean and cheese burrito, chips and cheese, man. And
Yeah, but don't burn yourself, Shawn.
don't.
You and your cheese.
I can't remember if they were ever one of the Taco Bell ones or not. I don't think so. I think it was more of a like not restaurant, but like the more just food, like smaller shop place.
But make sure you check out Tom tomorrow. He's kind of revamped his show, doing some life skills, cooking, and fun to hang out with. Just like this, he's just shooting the crap and discussing anything you guys might have on your mind.
Yeah, and he hangs out for a while. The last one I think was like 3 hours. I didn't. So he
Wow.
does hang out. It's a little bit longer form, just hanging out, cooking, talking. So check him out tomorrow, and then Thursday here, real quick. I also have to real quick copy the other one for you. You can start talking about your show on
Yeah.
Thursday if you'd like.
Join us on Thursday, Rolling Over the Hill. It's my life birthday, as I was mentioning at the beginning. 36 years in a wheelchair. But we're going to have a great show. It's Cerebral Palsy Month, CP Awareness Month, and we have two great guests coming on talking about what it's like to have CP. So if you want to learn something a little bit different than talking about our same situations of bladder infection and things like that, and want to hear what the other half goes through. I mean, there's somebody who was born with their CP, unlike us, where we had this injury come along later. So check out our great guests. One of them is Grisella from our chat. She's great. We've met her at the Abilities Expo a couple times. She's just super sweet. And I have a good friend of mine that I used to work with. So they're coming on and can't wait to have them as guests. So join Paul, Chad, Robert, and myself.
Yeah, and Graciela as well, and just check out the show. That should be fun. Celebrate Bobby's Life Day. 36 years in the chair. So it's super cool. So yeah, check all that stuff out, guys. And then what else we got coming up here too? I know next week we'll have Rolling with the Golden Oldies on. And then also one thing that we're working on right now, I've actually been trying. I talked about last year, but this year me and Leah have really been trying to work with trying to do like maybe a monthly kind of virtual game night, either on the channel or we may even just do it like in like a Zoom, Google Hangouts form where everybody can kind of be engaged and have like more of just a hangout and feel like you're part of the Live to Roll community. and we'll all hang out, just kind of have a good time, and also probably do some sort of raffle giveaway during the each one as well. So
Nice. That would be fun.
yeah, and Leon is actually helping us from the chat because is virtual and he's out somewhere where he doesn't have that community support. So his input's super valued for kind of like what is good for somebody that can't make these live in person events. So
Oh
shout
yeah.
out Leon in the chat there who is helping us get it going. And oh, and Ben, shout out Ben. Also, we're gonna have him on for a power soccer show. We're gonna coordinate and get him scheduled here soon. Um, but yeah, we actually have a Discord sort of, but I actually may make a new one because it's not really an official one. It's kind of Tom's Discord for better, like for like yeah, for the most part. It's not quite an official one, but we actually will maybe make an official one here soon or something.
Or maybe we can talk about a group me. Um, because in a group me, you have your general things, and then you can have different topics. That might be something. I don't know.
Okay, well that sounds cool. Maybe yeah,
Is that a young thing?
we'll ask the youngsters.
Yeah.
But but no,
I'm
that
only
sounds
on it
cool.
for our exercise group, and it actually works well. I can actually understand it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, maybe we'll look into something like that then. And I am also for people that are local here in Southern California. We are actually also going to try to do some little meetup hangout things. We actually maybe even have a really cool like closed to public hiking trail thing that we met some friends over the last weekend that said that they got a key to the gate and it's like a so there's a paved path. Well, no, I'm just saying we got the hookup, I think. So so we're gonna try to put something like that together, kind of a little bit of a hike picnic sort of thing, but it's on a paved, fairly level paved road. So I think it'll be cool trying to work on some fun stuff like that. So people that are local will try to get outdoors, have some fun, we'll do some cool stuff.
Also, I
So
wanted to give one more shout out to Nicole Lay, my good friend from Rancho, and I've gotten the pleasure to see you a couple times this last couple months, Nicole. So that's been great. But she sent over some information, and you might have gotten the email, Shawn. But they heard through a foundation, Push Rim. I think it's through Push Rim, but putting together it's kind of like a live series of mental to help out with uh, mental health. But they have some courses going on from April 19th through June 7th. It's every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And they also have a summer one going on July 12th through August 30th. It looks like they're talking about brain and body, telling your story. So it looks like they got a bunch of good modules here. Um, and if you want to check it out, reach to me on Instagram, message me, and I can send you the flyer. And Nicole, I think I don't see the link, or is that the link? If that, I don't want to say it yet, but it's going to start in April, so we can give more information about your
if you want,
workshop.
you can email me the link or send it to me, and I can make sure to put it in the description for this video for people that
There
are
we go.
watching
Yeah.
this week. So, but all right, guys, that's really cool. Hopefully, we'll catch you guys at some of these other things online and in person and everything. And if not, just see you here on the show. Definitely love seeing everybody in the chat and hanging out. And yeah, we're gonna continue doing kind of final Tuesday of the month as just being these open discussion, hangout Q&A things. So anything that we may have not been able to get to in a show before, or just going on, I feel like they're just fun and kind of nice for not having such a structured topic and stuff. But we do have some awesome guests lined up for other weeks, and should be some cool shows coming up, you guys.
Nicole, and if you want to put in, before we get off, if you want to put in an email that people can reach out to you directly, we can wait just one more minute before we log off, if that's okay, Shawn.
Yeah,
But
if you can, and I can also, even if I can put that in the description also, so it's easier
yeah,
for people to be able to click to as well. So yeah, I'll make sure we get the link and her email in there for anybody that's interested in checking that stuff out, because that's really cool programs they're doing.
yeah.
So we'll give it just a second if you want to put it in there, and if not, we'll just message. And like I said, we can just I can do that pretty quickly, easily. Just
Yeah, and I
copy.
send you over the information so you have it on
Okay,
there. So
perfect. So I'll do that right now. But yeah, thank you guys for watching the show. We appreciate you guys. Make sure to tune in for Tom's stream tomorrow and Bobby's Life Day on Thursday. Come hang out. And next week and continuing going forward. Looking forward to a great year of some awesome, hopefully helpful content.
and as Ken said, I thought you were saying you were 36 years old. No, no, I wish I was 36. So
36
uh,
years in the chair.
in the chair, but I'll take it. I'll take the 36, and I
Yeah.
do look good for 36.
If you just go get some of that, or just do a clean shave, hide those grays, you'd be. I mean, me. Look at my. I'm like
You're catching up. Goes like that.
It does.
Actually, I like it now that it is all white. So it gets better. It's a better looking when it gets all white. So
All right.
you
Yeah,
want to say
mine's just in the
something?
middle now. But
Do you
but
want?
all right, you guys. Oh, dogs are hungry.
You
We
want
are
to say something?
hungry.
Nope. I guess she doesn't.
Okay.
All
Well,
right,
yeah,
everyone.
she can
Have a
say hi
good
next time.
one. Thanks
All
for
right,
joining
lift your
us.
roll, everybody. See you guys next
Let's
time.
roll.